Welcome to Stage Break Media, built by fans for fans. Today, we're exploring Hendrick Motorsports 2026 Cup Series paint schemes. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Welcome, race fans, to Stage Break Media. I'm your host, T-Dunk. Like my intro said, we're going to review the 2026 Hendrick Motorsports Cup Series paint schemes. Thank you for joining in on this very special video. This is our very first ever full-length video for this channel. So I wanted to do something great. Everybody loves seeing the new schemes, so let's dive into it. Let's go. Let's do this. First up on the bat that we have here is Kyle Larson's Valvoline car for 2026. Per Hendrick Motorsports website, this was the only one for Kyle Larson that they had uploaded to the website. So let's dive into this one. First off, we're going to do a side image here. Red, white, and blue, typical Valvoline colors here. What really catches my eye here on the side of the race car, both sides, is the big metal Valvoline motor oil can on the sides back towards the rear tires. How many of them do you see around anymore? I don't think, in my area, they're not stocked. Are there any in your area that you can still purchase metal oil cans? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments in your area if you still can get them. But my area, you cannot. I gotta really like this red hood over the red roof. Very iconic color scheme here. Seeing that Valvoline reminds me of the 90s, early 2000s, but with a shakeup of modern day schemes on wraps. I like the way the red flows well. There's a lot of red compared to previous years with Valvoline scheme cars. In the past, a lot of the light blue on the cars and less of the red, but this one here, I do like the more red than the light blue. Like I said previously, all the colors flow well with this car. If I had to give this car a rating, from 1 being the worst paint scheme to a 10, this one's going to be somewhere in the upper 7s, close to an 8 for Kyle Larson's Valvoline paint scheme. And like I said, this is the only one for Kyle Larson that at the time of this recording was on Hendrick Motorsports website. So here in the coming days, we might see the HendrickCars.com car or maybe a different sponsor. Next up that we have, can y'all guess who it is that we're going to do? That's right. NASCAR's most popular driver, Chace Elliott, rolling in here with this brand new NAPA scheme. We're going to look here on the side of the car. It's a very bold side of the car, a lot of white, big blue stripe running down the side with a yellow stripe above it and a yellow stripe below it. The number 9 on the side of the car here, folks, looks pretty cool. It's very, very shiny blue. And I gotta say, I do like that. It really makes the 9 on his very sleek with a blue hood up over the roof with an all-white trunk lid. So the colors are pretty straightforward, straight lines. There's nothing really out of place on this car. I see a lot of his associate sponsors there on the side towards the rear. You see Coca-Cola, Prime. Rating this car, I'm going to give this car an 8.5. Could have been a little bit better. Definitely could have been a little bit better, but it could have been a lot worse. I like this car. It's very sleek. It's a little bit, I want to say, older school vibe feeling here with this paint scheme. So definitely a solid 8.5 on this car for Chace Elliott's NAPA scheme. Moving on, we're going to go to Chace Elliott's Kelley Blue Book car. I seen this car on Hendrick Motorsports website, the Kelley Blue Book car, and I gotta say, this car is pretty sharp. If you look over the hood, the roof, and the trunk, you're going to see inside that dark blue like a zigzag wavy line type of pattern going across. I dig that. I like that. That really stands out to me. It's something, not just a solid base color here. And I like how they broken it up with the light blue on the sides of the car and the yellow stripes going around, separating the two colors. Again, we see the associate sponsors of Coca-Cola, Prime, NAPA, Valvoline. I like how the number 9, both on the roof and on the sides of the car, stand out pretty cool. I like when the numbers of the cars can really pop. And sorry I keep looking away from you guys, folks. I keep looking down at my laptop so I can see the cars so I can explain what I'm seeing to you guys as I have them here on the screen for you as well. Our next Chace Elliott paint scheme here, and I keep saying paint scheme because that's what I'm used to. I know these cars aren't painted anymore. They're all with a wrap, so I apologize for saying paint instead of wrap scheme. We're moving on to Chace's UniFirst paint scheme here. Nothing really super exciting with it. It's very, very familiar from last year, so there wasn't really much of a shakeup here between seasons. If somebody else sees a difference between last year's UniFirst car and this year's that I'm showing you fine folks, let me know down in the comments what that is. But I'm really not seeing much of a difference between last year and this year. So rating this on creativity, it's like a copy and paste from last year. I'm going to have to give this one a flat 6 because I seen it last year. I'd like to see the sponsors and the teams come up with a little bit different schemes each year, just so it's not the same old, same old. I know years in the past, for all them old school NASCAR fans, we were so used to seeing the copy and paste from year to year. The Man in Black, Dale Jr., and the number 8 Budweiser Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon for years ran the Rainbow. Then he went to the Flames for several years, and it was a copy and paste. So I do like it when teams shake it up each year to year. The next Chace Elliott scheme that we're going to do is his Prime scheme. Now this one here, folks, I really, really enjoy seeing this one. That full black and blue Prime. I love how the number 9 on the sides and the roof pop out. It stands out. The way the transitions from blue to black, it kind of looks like the metal's being tore off. Do you guys see that as well? Let me know down in the comments if you guys are seeing that as well. By far, out of all the Hendrick schemes for this year, out of all the ones that I previewed that I'm going to share here with you today, this one by far is my favorite. And at the end of this video, if you guys let me know in the comments down below, what is your guys' most favorite paint scheme so far here in this video? Drop a comment, let me know. Our next paint scheme is going to go to the number 24, Willie B. That's right, Willie B, last year's Daytona 500 winner. We have his Valvoline paint scheme. I gotta say, I really, really do like this paint scheme. The blues, the white, the red, it really pops for a Willie B car. The numbers pop out very, very well on this car for me, on the sides and the roof. This does remind me of something that we have seen in the past. There have been a little bit of tweaks made to this year's, but overall, this is a solid car. I'm going to definitely give this car maybe an 8 because it feels like I've seen this before, maybe not exactly like this, but close to it. Our next Willie B paint scheme is going to be his Phorm Energy scheme that he's going to be running this year. Very, very patriotic scheme, I believe. I feel it. The big blue field with the white stars, the red stripe, the white. It's a simple scheme. I'm going to give this one a 7. I think they could have done a little bit more with this one, but they could have done worse with this one. So a 7 for the Phorm Energy car. The next one we have up on deck, it's another Willie B car. This is going to be his HP car. To me, I'm not really a fan of this paint scheme. I feel last year's HP scheme car was a lot better and bolder, and it popped more. Now, I will say with seeing this car, it gives me a little bit of a nostalgia feel. And what do I mean by this? This nostalgia feel is a lot of white on this car, and the 24 is black. For all you older school NASCAR fans, if you guys remember 2001, right after we lost Dale and Kevin Harvick came on board and they changed the car number to 29 for RCR, we had an all-white GM Goodwrench car with a big black 29 on it. That's what I get when I see this HP 24 Willie B. I get that nostalgia feel. You take away the blue HP logo from the car, that's what I see. That's what it pops in my head, is seeing that black GM Goodwrench, the white GM Goodwrench 29 car of Kevin Harvick's from 01. I got to give this one a flat 4 on a rating for the simple fact it's all white with HP's logo on it in the blue. Last year was very, very cool looking car. This year, it's just too bland for my taste. And I like when the cars are really bold, extravagant, a lot of like waves and curvatures and angles. Now we come to William Byron's All-Pro car. I feel a lot of nostalgia from last year with this scheme, so I'm not going to really express a lot of narration here because I feel that we have seen this scheme last year. So again, let's try to tweak it a little bit more. If you guys see a tweak that is on this card that I have missed, let me know. But this card here, definitely something that I seen last year. So before we move on to some more scheme reviews here, I just want to say I appreciate y'all tuning in and watching this video. This is my very first video doing this. I'm new to YouTube video creation. I'm new to this, so please bear with me as I start to gain the expertise and the education to make and produce better quality videos. With that being said, if you like this kind of video, you want to see more of these types of videos, hit that like button and hit subscribe. And then always comment, because when you guys comment, I read them and I can see what I can do to improve, whether it's spending more time in editing, more time in research, providing more images other than just myself on camera. So please express your opinions in the comments. I'm very happy to read those, because one thing that I like to do is read those comments so I can get better to provide better quality product to you. So with that being said, if you like this video, you want to see more of them, hit the like, smash that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications to stay up to date with all the different content that we're going to produce here at Stage Break Media. And thank you for watching this. This has been a journey for us here. The team has been working hard. We've been doing our homework of what we need to do as beginners here, because we're recording videos off our cell phones and using these little cheap lavalier mics. So now back to the reviews. The next William Byron car is going to be a Cincinnati paint scheme. This is almost identical to the car last year, but looking at the images from the car last year and looking at the image that I'm providing to you guys, the red on this car looks a little bit more darker, and it has a little bit more of a, like, inside the red, more of a streak shadow pattern in it, where it looks like an American flag actually waving in the wind. Again, this car here, the numbers really stand out, pop off the car. Overall, I like this car. This is another patriotic scheme. I love NASCAR Patriotic schemes. Those are my favorite. But overall, the Cincinnati William Byron scheme for 2026, I like that. I'm going to give this one an 8.5. Think it could have been a little bit better by changing it up a little bit compared to last year, and I feel that they did. But it does seem a little bit copy and paste here. We're going to stick with that rating. We're going to move to another William Byron Patriotic scheme that he's going to be running in 2026, and that's his RAPTOR red, white, and blue flame car. I really like this car. This one is another car that brings me back nostalgia feels with the yellow 24. When I see that yellow 24, I think, man, this is Jeff Gordon driving this car, but we all know it's not Jeff. But the number really pops out with that Jeff Gordon yellow. I call it Jeff Gordon yellow. There may be an actual proper name for it, but I just call it Jeff Gordon yellow. Jeff Gordon yellow 24 on a red, white, and blue car really makes the number stand out. I love the flames on this. It's very sleek. So with this car, I'm going to rate it an 8. Definitely going to rate it an 8 because we did see something like this last year. So again, let's switch it up a little bit, change things around, move forward. But we're going to stick with that rating as well on this one. Again, we have another William Byron paint scheme, and this is Liberty University. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but I'm going to show you guys the different angles of the car so you can see all the way around it. This is another almost identical copy and paste car from last year, so I'm going to give this one a 7. I like the design, I like the flames on it, but again, it's something we seen last year. When it comes to the 24 on the roof and the sides, I think they could have done a little bit better to make that number pop more, but the end thing, these are just my opinions, and they're going to be different from yours. And the great thing about this is I can express mine, and you guys can comment and let me know, hey, you're awesome. Hey, you're an idiot. I'm okay with either one. The main thing is I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments what you think about these schemes. Do you like them? Do you not like them? And then if you don't like them, what don't you like about them? Or if you like them, what do you like about them? So let's move on. We are going to go to our final paint scheme of the day. And this one is going to be right up there with Chase Elliott's prime car. And that's going to be the 48 of Alex Bowman's Ally scheme for this year. It's way different than last year, that's for sure. If you remember, last year was a lot of purple and a lot of black. This year, folks, we got a lot of purple, and we have some green in there. We have some white in there. We have some black in there. I like the shadowing effect a little bit, the different line patterns. This one really stands out. I'm not going to give it a solid rating like I did the Prime because the black and blue, those are like two of my favorite colors. But this one here, by far, is in second place of all the paint schemes so far today. And it by chance to be the last one of this video. The 48 really stands out. But what I really like what they did was they added that green to this. Because last year I didn't care for the black and purple too much. But this year it has a lot more color to it, and I really like it. This one is a very sharp-looking hot rod. And the great thing that I like about some of these schemes here, I like when they add their associate sponsors on board as well. Like this Ally Chevrolet has Valvoline on it, has HendrickCars.com. I like that. I like how they do that and where they place them as well. Now, if I can add just a little bit more to these cars, some of you may hate me. Some of you might be like, oh, he's just an idiot. But I wish we could bring back the contingency decals. I've always been a fan of them. I know we have some there on the B post of the cars, but I miss them being down there around the front fender well. Just appearance-wise, that's what I liked. Like you're going to find out here a lot on the channel, I'm an old school NASCAR fan, so a lot of the things from the past, I wish they could bring back to today. I know we'll never see some of the things, but I wish we could change up a little bit and bring some of the past to the present. Like, I know, don't curse me for it, folks. I just like the contingency decals on the cars. So, with that being said, this comes to the end of the video, our very first video here on Stage Break Media. So, out of all today's paint schemes that we reviewed, my number one is going to be the Chace Elliott Prime car, and the least favorite one is going to be William Byron's HP car. Now's the time for you guys. Drop a comment down below which car you like the most, which car you like least, and let me know why you chose those cars. If you guys want to see more of these content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And at this time, from all of us here at Stage Break Media, we appreciate each and every one of you, and we thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm T-Dunk. Y'all have a safe and wonderful day.